So the last machine is called intelligence. Let's save that because we've actually used it. Normally you would compile, you would get the CLS from the system, but standard ones work on the majority of Windows installations. So close all of that, leave Bloodhound open. That is, there we go. Okay, and this one is a medium Windows. How much? Oh, so we've been streaming for about 9.5 hours now. At this point, we have 80 points for the exam, and with the notes that I've already taken, I'm pretty sure we would have we would pass. So, in theory, if you wanted, you could stop here and just say, you know what, I have enough. I don't need 100 points. But we don't do that. We do not do that. Come on. Okay, we have an IP address. 10.129.95.154. And another Active Directory with the website. So let's do the standard NXC SMB 10 129 95 154 TAC U TAC P I cannot write anymore. Host file loot TMP host. we go. We should also check if we have any shares access. Okay, account disabled, access denied. Yay. However, we do have burp. Because we have a port 80 open. So, wait, I need... Kirby 5, goodbye. Yeah, we had to remove that because... Okay. Target scope, use last. My... Why is this redirecting me to... Oh, I have Bloodhound running on port 8080, so the proxy cannot start. And now it's Brave is being a dick. 10, 1 to 9, 95, 154. Okay. Share word list, set list, discovery. There we go. Okay, so we have a documents page. Oh. It's a pattern, isn't it? For the PDF. Got the date. We're not allowed to use professional burp, so we need to script it basically. Import requests. Month, date. I'm not gonna do year for now, so in range 113 for T in range 132 print okay. So basically this one hey gratitude, morning or whatever time of day is. Yeah, it's the OSCP style stream, so in theory it's gonna be 24 hours, but we are 10 hours in and we have one machine left out of 5. We'll see. Right. That will take a while, but in theory, there we go. As I said, in theory, it should give us a list of documents that exist, and now we can actually save the files. So that goes in my This is not gonna work because we're not requesting it as a binary string. Let me check, because I really don't remember. Python requests download file, because I don't want to have to write it again. Okay, so r.content. There we go. Now we actually have the files downloaded as well. Let's have a look. So these seem to be all test documents, except this one. Okay, let's check for some other years as well. Let's do 2021. So 2019 nothing, 2021 nothing, 2022 nothing. I'm tired, I'm gonna go through all of them again. Might have missed something. Because that one just tells about the script and service accounts, but and we basically get name of a person there. Properties. No, that's not useful. Okay, so that requires an okay, so we cannot do that as guest. No, because that's for NXT. Yeah, account is disabled, so we don't have an account at all. Why? Oh. Hmm. Hello, welcome to the stream. foot long. Oh. I think I just realized an issue in my code. By the looks of it, the URL is 2 digits, 2 digits. This does not prepend 0. So if 10 T because if it needs 2 digits, yeah, we missed a lot of documents. And you've fallen asleep then. That was 2 machines ago. Basically, we're doing the last machine now. But don't worry, I'm planning on getting the videos and I'll upload them to YouTube anyway, just in case Twitch decides to drop the files at some point, because they do. Okay, now we have more files in here. That's a lot of files. How many? Just 84. Wait. I don't think I can see anything like that, can I? I will need to use a converter. Yep. God damn it. Okay, so PDF to text doesn't exist, which means popular utils. Okay. Mm. Okay. What's the command line for PDF to text? Um, of course, it just adds the last one. Mm. It's fine. It's fine. We can fix that. T.txt. There we go. And now we have all the text in a single text file, and we don't have to open a million PDF documents. I forgot to add this to my notes. Now let's have a look. Actually, we can start from the bottom because that's where we have some text. That's not lorem ipsum. Okay. So we kind of have a password, but we don't have accounts, do we? Well, we kind of have Ted. If Ted's a user. Let's see. Oh, I need users. Ooh. Okay, so Ted is not a valid username. Contact? I doubt contact is a user, but at this point I'm just guessing. Maybe we need to... We've done this on the previous machine. We used the author of the PDF to generate a user list, didn't we? The images to generate a user list. Actually, we can use EXIF tool for PDFs as well, I think. Yeah. And we get users. So but there we go. That's better. Goddamn space. And no valid users. Okay, no problem. I want to run a brute force as well. Root maybe users tech p, and I'm just gonna provide one password. Bit of password spraying. Oh. So Kerberos is lying to me. Kerberos said there are no valid users. Okay. Okay, let me paste the screenshot and then I'll do a screenshot of Kerberos because I do want this in the notes as well. So we get Tiffany Molina with the default password. Let's see, do we have any shares? Yes, we have users, we have IT. Now, now that is strange. Why is it doing that? Well, it managed to get one file. Oh, Ted Graves, basically. Oh, do you see where this is going? Because I do. I haven't run Bloodhound yet, but based on this script, one of the users that we have access to will be allowed to add a DNS record, and we will use responder to capture Ted's hash, because he's doing an invoke web request with default credentials. Okay, let me write that into the notes. Okay, so the script in question is down detector. Now let's run Bloodhound. What's the IP address? 129.95.154. No, we're not using Kerberos authentication. We're using plain password. Hey TVR, TVSR. Hopefully I didn't botch your name there. Right, let's clear the database. I do. I do have to code in my job as well. Keep in mind, if you are doing pen testing or if you're doing red teaming, you will have to, at some point, you will develop your own exploits. You will develop your own malware, for lack of a better term for it. You will have to do that. And that's just because anything that you see on GitHub, sooner or later it's going to be detected by EDRs and antivirus. So you do have to roll your own so you can bypass that. Learn how to break stuff, because then you know how to code better around those loopholes. So you being here helps because it allows you to understand the bug, and then when you have to write code, you know how to avoid those mistakes. Not sure if you've caught the start, or I don't know, at some point in the stream someone asked what's my background, and I do come from an engineering background, and that helped me in cybersecurity, the same as cybersecurity helps me write better code. Don't chase the money. Do what you enjoy doing. The money will follow. Um, it is. Don't get me wrong. Money is very important, but um, if you end up in a job that you hate doing, money won't make a difference. Because every day is gonna be a pain, and no matter how much money you make, that's not gonna change it. Right. Going back to the box, I was saying about responder and being able to capture Ted's hash and crack it. Well, looking at Bloodhound, we found a step forward after that because we basically can read the password for SVC int. The problem is we don't have the data for Ted yet. Well, try to think about it as there's no such thing as perfect software. Every single piece of code will have one problem or another. The idea behind secure coding is try to think of the issues before you write the code. So in the case of, for example, database queries, always use parameters or always use an ORAM or stuff like that that will sanitize the parameters or use prepare statements for the queries, because that's gonna save you a lot of headache on that case in that scenario. But that's not the only type of bug that you need to be aware of. You also need to be aware of business logic bugs, which might allow privilege escalation in an application, be that web or whatever it is, or local privilege escalation. Stuff that we've actually done today on stream. In one of the application, we found a local privilege escalation. So knowing, as I said before, knowing how to exploit an issue and what an attacker would look for helps you write more secure code. Now you can augment that with tools that are out there that will do static code analysis, SCA dependencies, so software composition analysis, that will allow you to identify CVEs in your third-party dependencies, and the software composition static analysis for code will allow you to basically get rid of, I would say, 95% of regular bugs, SQL injections, remote code execution, cross-site scripting. They're very good at determining that sort of thing. Now with AI, you can ask agents to do software review, software code review for security, and that tightens the gap as well. Now, of course, it depends on what model you use and all of that, but it does help. And security is not something that you do once and you forget about it. It's something that you have to constantly do. And with tooling that does software static analysis and software composition analysis, you would basically inject them in your CI/CD pipeline. Every time you push code, a scan gets triggered and all of that. Or even sooner, if you can, you introduce it when the developer writes the code. sorry, a bit of a rant about software development. We need to get back to our Ted Graves. So what do we have? That's web. There's no web in here. Let's have a look. So we have admins, OU structure. Okay, so we found the path to the main admin as well. But we do have a piece that is missing, and that's from Tiffany to Ted. And there is no path here. Maybe there's something on the shares that I haven't seen. Let's do in packet. Oh. There we go. Okay, so we see this is a bit of a tricky one. You can get user.text here. However, for OSCP, this is not valid because this is not a terminal shell. You need access to the machine in a proper shell for it to be considered, because you cannot execute commands here, and you need to be able to execute hostname and IP address. So okay, default. Wait, I was desktop documents. Nope. Shares use. Yeah, so that's just the script. What other ports do we have open? Yeah, so we don't have read-write over any shares. Well, we have read, but we don't have write to over any shares. What am I missing? We could use, we could do certify as well and see. ID find. Okay, what do I need? IP address here. DC. We're not using Kerberos authentication, we're using normal authentication. Okay, we need the main. So it's defaulting to LDAPs. It was defaulting to the secure. Yeah, 636. Let's try use simple LDAP auth instead of an no. Connection refused. Okay. Okay, that came back with nothing. On a previous box we did find the password here, so that's why I'm checking now. No. Okay. Let's use who am I as well. Maybe something that's... Wait, is Ted in our user list? No, he is not. So we haven't tested this password with Ted. And that's because he wasn't on our original list. But then the hash wouldn't make sense with it. I'm back. So, where were we? Yeah, we need to find a way to get Ted's hash, don't we? Okay. So, apparently, I think I've hit this before, and I've forgotten. Any authenticated user can create a DNS record. Okay, bloody AD it is. Right. No, we're not using Kerberos authentication. Our IP address is different, is 95.154. Add DNS, and we're gonna figure out what's next for that, but we need to fix the user and the domain. Okay. Invalid choice. Okay, so it's DNS record. Okay, let's start responder. There we go. So we have responder set up. And if we look back at the... Hello, welcome to the stream. So if we look back at our script that we've got from the share here, basically we can name it anything that starts with web. So in our case, what we can do is add DNS record, web, let's be creative, and it's our IP address, 96. So if we run that, we should get a hit on responder. Oh, but error starting TCP. Ah, I know why. I know why, because I still have the listener on port 80. Remove. There we go. So if you want to, if you're learning, that's why I'm here. I'm here to try to teach people how to do that. Everyone starts somewhere. What's your level, and where do you start for? What's your background? Okay. Okay. Have you done anything for with a terminal, Linux environment, anything of that sort, or programming? I wonder how often that actually runs. That's there. Maybe I need... Hmm. There we go. You know what the sad part is? We already have the path to domain admin. So basically the machine, once we crack this hash, the machine is basically done. We can close that because we no longer need it. And we can do hashtag is there, hashcat, tech a0. Data rock you. There we go. Mr. Teddy. Well, yeah, but PowerShell scripting, this is just what I got from the server. I can read PowerShell, but to write it from scratch, no. Not my forte. Where was I? Oh yeah, we got the password. It cracked, which means so we put Mr. Teddy in our credentials file. as belonging to Ted Graves. Now we can do in Bloodhound we can search for Ted, mark him as owned, Stuxnet. I don't know what to tell you, man. What exactly are you interested in? There should be... No, it's under LDAP. There should be a module for that. Where is it? Well, if it's 0 days, they pop up like mushrooms after a rain these days with AI basically badgering every single software that exists. Or am I blind? SMB. Oh. So we should be able to read the password for that user. I'm not sure if you've seen the there's Nightmare Eclipse that basically published 7 or 8 0 days this year, actually in the last few months for Windows. Do you think that he's the only one that has access to such data? And I don't think he's used AI to research them. bloody AD read GMSA password. It doesn't matter if the exploits are or creep or shit or not. As long as they work, it doesn't matter. It can be the worst exploit you've ever seen. The problem is it works, and that's where it all starts. Graves, Mr. Teddy. Oh no, this one is target object. As we see, int, and attribute is that one. I'm sorry. I'm not touching that. I am not touching that topic. So we have the NTLM hash for SVC int, and that should work if we do SVC int. There we go. That works. Now, where's... So, as we see int, we can mark as owned. And then we're allowed to delegate, basically. And for that, we use impacket. No, it's not illegal. I just don't want that on my stream. Sorry. DC intelligence.htb impersonate administrator, Hashes, yeah, we have the hash there. Oh. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It was an interesting exploit, but yeah, I'm not gonna get into politics. That's not why I'm streaming, and yeah, I want to try to teach people how to get into cybersecurity and how to do it in a safe manner. I don't want to talk politics, religion, all of that. I really not my cup of tea. So if that's why you're here, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Right. Why is this one not working? I'm using the wrong SPN, aren't I? Allowed to delegate. And I've been using HTTP. So we are trusted for delegation. But we're not allowed to set an extra SPN. Let's try. It's nothing to be sorry about. It's just I don't want to talk about that, especially because I want to be able to publish these videos on YouTube. That those are not topics that are discussable in such a community and platform. Sorry. So why is my command not working? So we have DC intelligence, we're impersonating administrator, which is correct. We don't supply an alt service because we don't have the ability to do that. And we are specifying the user. In theory, that's empty, so that should work. Ah, there we go. So I think I was messing up the quotes here for the actual user. You mean the certification from HackTheBox? I haven't done it. I haven't done any certifications from HackTheBox, unfortunately. I'm currently in the process of doing CRTL. I've done CRTO a few years back. Now I'm doing CRTL, and then I want to do OSED. With HackTheBox stuff, I have some friends that have done it, and they said that it's really nice, but I have not touched it. NXC, SMB. Why did I close Adaptix? Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna go for Adaptix. I'm just gonna go for Penelope. I think they've updated. Even OSEP was updated last year. So no, I don't think it's Windows 7 systems. What? I am tired. There we go. So X No, that's not the correct one. That's the correct one. When I was younger, I was able to stay up a lot longer than this. But I will probably, because we are done with the machine. So we are administrator on the DC. I will probably call it off and then do the reporting in the afternoon. I will have to go to, as I said before, I will have to go to the vet with my dog around 12 o'clock. So that's in about 2.5 hours or so. And that means I can take a break and then be back in the afternoon to do the reporting stuff. So all 5 machines I've started, let's call it 12 hours. So 5 machines, 1 hard, 1 insane, I think 2 mediums and 1 easy, 12 hours. And that's with breaks and stuff like that. And taking notes. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay. Users, admin, desktop. There we go. And we have the root flag as well. Now, as I said, I think I'm going to be calling it here for this half of the stream. And then I'll be continuing the reporting part in the afternoon.